Good evening, everyone. Glad to see all of you. As usual, we will wait until the room fills up just a little bit more. Apologize for not having anything more interesting to look at in my background. But here I am. And we're mostly here to be all together, also secluded in our own experience. And hopefully able to roll with everything. So we might as well start tonight with as many cameras on as if you are willing, and feel free to, as always, say hello and perhaps where you're calling in from and give us the feeling of being together, hearing each other's voices, knowing that we're part of a loving collective from all over. Anyway, right now I'm up in Canada.
Isabel in Pacifica.
Hey, Isabel.
This is Dale from Mill Valley, California.
Hello, Dale. Good to see you.
Here's Jill from Regina, Canada.
Hello, Jill.
Samira from Phoenix.
Hi, Samira.
Donna from Saskatoon, Canada. Happy Canada Day.
Happy Canada Day. They're
Howard
out celebrating today.
Howard from Canada.
Hello, Howard.
Glenn from Palm Desert, California.
Glenn, you had your hand up.
Palm Desert, California.
Hi, Glenn. Great to see you again.
Hi from Maryland.
Hey, Laura. So soon.
Yes, good to see you again.
Laura was in San Francisco with us on Saturday, wasn't it?
Yeah.
The world turns.
And so was I. Hi, this is Sharon.
Where is Sharon?
Sharon Browning, and I don't know how to turn the video on.
Oh, I see. Anyway, welcome.
Thank you.
David from Burlingame was
Hey,
there.
David. It's great to see you in person as well.
Charlie from Rockport, almost in Canada.
Charlie, good to have you back with us.
Frank, San Francisco.
Hey, Frank. Loved having you and Rhonda on the weekend.
Trisha from San Francisco.
Hello, Tricia. So great to see you at the picnic.
Likewise.
Rebecca in San Francisco.
Hey, Rebecca. Good to see you.
Noemi from the
Hey,
mission.
Noemi.
Hi.
Thanks for being our co-host Saturday.
You're very welcome.
John in Boulder, Colorado.
Hey, Don. Welcome.
John.
Oh, John. There you are. Good to see you.
Hi, Tracy from San Antonio, but I'm in Dillon, Colorado today.
Hi, Tracy. Welcome. Okay. Thank you. Love hearing your voices. I see Nina pop up there. Great to have you with us. And I'm mostly glad to be able to sit together to use our group, this group phenomenon, as a way of calling us to real time. We have a little bit of accountability, the fact that we're showing up together. We also have this wonderful opportunity to support each other and to make supporting each other part of our our regular aspiration. May my practice today and every day be dedicated to the welfare and benefit of all. And so there's no doubt there's great merit. It's good for you, good for the group when we practice together. That's enough reflecting for a moment. We want to move beyond the idea of being here and being together to the direct experience. Letting our eyes close softly. If you are able to relinquish anything that has ever happened, it's already over. It's, as my friend Jack says, it's back with the pharaohs. And if you are able and willing to release the imagined future, it's just a dream anyway. And if you're willing and able to just discover, embrace the only reality, which is the living present. As one teacher put it, reality is what makes the present so vital, so different from past and future, which are merely mental. When we dwell excessively in past or future, even though it's completely understandable and a wonderful thing that we can remember and plan and even to worry. But if we dwell in these imagined realities, we tend to become somewhat, our vital energy becomes somewhat diminished. And the way we can each recover is finding that vivid, that living present. And the place that we find it with our eyes closed softly is in the softness of the sensations of our body. The soft touch of the hands and the lips and the eyelids. The touch of our rear on the cushion or chair or bed. Knowing there's nothing to do about these sensations other than to simply feel them and know them. Feeling the shape and the form, the cohesion of the sitting body, the expression of the elements of earth, air, fire, water in this body. Heavy, hard, cool, warm, vibrating, pulsing. So intimate that we no longer feel body, but just sensation. And we feel the body's experience, the sensations that are created when our body breathes. And we feel that experience one half breath at a time. All made possible, all of this felt experience made possible by the simple and perhaps ultimate fact that there is awareness. And awareness is really uncaused. It's just there. It's completely invisible, has no height, no shape, no color, no form, yet everything is known so effortlessly in this field of awareness. So, what supports awareness is having it in the same place as the body. What supports the body is having awareness saturating it. So there's no dividing line between awareness and body. There's just bodyfulness. Just this breath, just this moment, just this being aware. Not only is being aware of breathing supporting this natural awareness, but we can also learn from the body's breath. We can see how it lets go. And let each breath teach us how to let go. Let go of the in-breath. Let go of the out-breath. We let go into that space between the breaths, if there is one. And when sounds come, we let those come and go. When moods come, like weather, we let it come and go. When thoughts and images come, we let them float through our mind like clouds. We cling to nothing. We simply rest in that natural, non-reactive awareness. Just this moment. when you are not aware of the thinking mind, but lost in the thinking mind, and you realize that that's a moment of mindfulness, re-arising, expressing its function of waking us up to where we are. So appreciate that moment of recognition, because it's inevitable that we'll daydream. We appreciate that reawakening, and in support of remaining anchored to this living present and continuous in our attention to the unfolding experience, we connect again with our body, our breath. Receive the experience of breathing. Receive the experience of the sitting body. Knowing that there is nothing to do about what is being noticed. Nothing to undo or fix or figure out. Offering each moment's experience a bath of non-contentiousness, of acceptance of things just as they are, just this moment. Just this breath or whatever is predominant. If there's any strain or struggle to make things happen, to make something, go a certain way, this is grasping, this is greed in the mind. Let it be the reminder to let go, to let be things just as they are. If you notice that there's resistance, fear, contentiousness, let this be the reminder to settle back into the moment, accept what comes, and say goodbye to what goes. If you're spaced out, this is delusion in the mind. Just know this, and let it be the reminder of your wholesome desire to maintain the continuity of this natural awareness. Everything included, everything supporting the experience of being aware. I'd like to end the sitting this evening with a good, what I think is a good reminder poem from Wendell Berry called The Peace of Wild Things. When despair for the world grows in me, and I wake in the night at the least sound, in fear of what my life and my children's lives may be, I go and lie down where the wood drake rests in his beauty on the water, and the great heron feeds. I come into the peace of wild things, who do not tax their lives with forethought of grief. I come into the presence of still water, and I feel above me the day-blind stars waiting with their light. For a time, I rest in the grace of the world and am free. Pleasure to sit with you. A little sleepy tonight, but really happy to, felt really held by the presence of all of you. And naturally, because of the role that I'm functioning in, I started to have some stray thoughts about the evening. One of them really was captured in that poem. Said, these wild things that don't tax their lives with forethought of grief. And I think one of our very common habits is we tax our lives with all kinds of thoughts and all kinds of worries and notions and reactions, and so it's, and for very legitimate reasons, it's a sign that we care for the world, care for ourselves. But the world that we care so much about, our own immediate world and the world around us, the world we care about, I don't think it does so well if we are diminished. It does best, and why perhaps our greatest action, maybe what produces the most merit. Merit just means that it's good for you and good for the world. What produces the most merit is if we're well. If we devote ourselves to being well, to being balanced, to not tax our lives with forethought of grief. And to, as much as we need to come into the presence of still water, to sit, to walk, to be present. And this is not shirking our responsibility. This is actually part of our responsibility to stay balanced, to be an example of peace, to be a reliable refuge for the people who have to live around you every day. At least that's one of my aspirations. Work in progress. Anyway, I'm curious about you. Any questions, comments, descriptions? as always, if something is brewing for you or came up for you during the sitting, anything about the instructions, what you noticed, whatever it is, it might be of some use to someone else. So don't hesitate. It's part of our own recovery, as they call it in the Zen tradition, confessing our delusions. So considered a very high practice.
Well, Howie, I noticed that Sharon's mic is open, but I'm not sure if she's
Thank you, Howie.
talk or not.
So Sharon, feel free.
Pardon me?
Did you have your mic open because you wanted to speak, or is it just accidental?
Accidental, excuse me.
Okay. Okay. Thanks, Sharon. Okay, now I've messed up my screen here, so. Somebody tell me how to get back to gallery view.
Usually the top right of your screen, there's a
Yeah,
couple
but
of
on a
images.
laptop in full screen mode, it's not obvious. So I'll figure it out. Thank you. Gallery mode.
Well, I see Melinda has also got her microphone open.
Hi. Can you all hear me?
Yes, do you have your camera on?
I don't know. Let's see. I think so.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Hey, Melinda, good to see
Hi.
you.
Yeah, you too. Thank you, Howie. I'm so glad to be here. I've had to miss for a while now. One dog died and one is 16 years old now. So
Sorry,
I've
I'm
been
very
in
sorry.
that world pretty deeply.
Mm.
But it's okay. But I'm just so grateful to be here. I know I just have to say it. What's going on in our country and our world is terrifying and overwhelming. But as you were speaking and as I sat down tonight, I remembered, actually watched I don't know, you call it a video somebody had made, a drag queen, about what's going on in the world. And they said that our joy be our resistance.
Could
And
you repeat that a little?
let your joy be your resistance.
Ah, beautiful. Yeah.
And I'm hanging on to that because even though I've had to search for the joy, I've had to remember to look down at the ground and find the flower and look at the sky and look at the beach. And, I've had to search, but it's all around us, really. And
Yes.
I need to, I need to stay there because I was sort of drowning in the fear of it today.
Yeah.
Um, but anyway, I don't know what that pertains to, what if there even was a topic, so I'm sorry. Um, but I'm grateful to be here, and I always appreciate being here with you all. And I get to sneak in glimpses of my brother in Maine, but it looks like he fell asleep and left.
Anyway, I'm
Uh,
glad to have you here. So sorry about your loss, and beautiful reminder that joy is our resistance. So is peace our resistance. So thank you.
Thank you.
Jill, please feel free to unmute.
Thanks. I can't find the little button. I love the poem by Wendell Berry, and I spent today in the piece of Wild Things, and I have to say how much more resilient I felt by the end of the day.
Mm.
Some other environmental activists who were also just rejuvenating. And I'm reminded of this a poem by Wendell Berry called The Mad Farmer's Liberation Manifesto. But the middle line in it has become sort of my motto. And it's one of my mottos for the year. It says, "Be joyful, though you've considered all the facts."
Be joyful, though you've considered all the facts. Gorgeous.
Yeah. So thank you for talking about joy. Thank you for being you. Thank you for what you do for us.
Thank you. And thank Melinda. She brought the joy in. Anyway. Anyone else? David, please feel free.
Yeah, this is almost like a endorsement of Wendell Berry. I've been reading a novel that he wrote a number of years ago called Jayber Crow, and he's got this just it's he's just got this really soulful touch in the way he describes life in this small Kentucky town during the 20th century. And I never would have picked it up if I hadn't sort of been hearing Wendell Berry's poetry here over the years. So it's been a great read.
Great, glad to hear it. I'm sure he would appreciate the endorsement. Many of you might never know this, but Wendell Berry was, I think, actually a friend of one of our Spirit Rock teachers, John Travis, who many of you probably sat with. And I think they grew up together actually in the South. And so he used to tell stories of Wendell Berry. He was a real person, is a real person. Mary, please feel free. Last but not least.
Well, I think it's really a real balancing act at the moment of, I feel very strongly we shouldn't put our heads in the sand or, that kind of thing. So trying to stay aware and on top of what's going on. And it's very disturbing and very upsetting. And if you're a human being, and, but at the same time, I've been like balancing it with meditation, Tai Chi, making art, it's like I have to take care of myself.
Of course.
But the other day I was like, I think with this bill and everything, I was kind of more upset than usual. And oddly enough, I came across some new to me great tenors on Facebook. And I just listened the whole day to all this beautiful opera. It was so beautiful and so joyful and such great camaraderie among the musicians and the audience. And honestly, the joy of it, as you were talking about, just like renew and the beauty of it renewed like my faith in humanity, and it really was like a medicine or something. It was just very, very beautiful. So it's really balancing, the terrible things going on and the worst of humanity with remembering the best of us.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Howie. You're you're helping us all so much. I always very much look forward to Tuesday night, more so than ever. Thank you. Very grateful.
Thank you. Thank you. So I'm not sure that it will bring joy, but maybe this poem always brings a chuckle to my heart. And as Melinda spoke about the loss of her animal, I have lots of people in my orbit that are either quite old. My mother is 99 and still kicking and communicative and wonderful, and I have other friends who have broken bones or are basically bedridden, and so many beings in difficult circumstances. And I don't need to describe my little physical dramas. I've talked about it enough on Tuesday night, but this being human it's not easy. And there's, in addition to the still water and just remembering that place of buoyancy, of aliveness and peace, the natural peace and ease that is the peace and ease of our nature, besides enjoying that and getting using it as using your own heart and mind as a refuge. Also, it's important to counteract the typical conditioned way that our mind often inclines to really work with our mind. And clearly, working with our mind around the way things are in the world is understanding that they are conditioned by circumstances that are, in a way, beyond our own will and wish. We do our part, but it's essential that we remember that that things are happening. Things are as they are, whether we like it or not. And it is often our reaction, our fear, our fury. It is the way that we meet our experience that determines whether we are in a state of resistant, appropriate or healthy resistance, or where we are not really accepting or working with things as they are. And that kind of resistance is lethal for our hearts, where we cannot feel balance with the way things are. And balance seems to come from some clear-eyed sense of this is how it is. And things are happening according to many, many influences. And it's too simplistic to just cast blame here or cast blame there, but it's part of a systemic condition. And whatever it is that whatever way we can work with our minds so that our understanding allows us to meet things with less reactivity, all the better. But in our immediate lives, just the reality, the teachings about working with our mind start with working with our mind around the fact that things are always in flux and changing. Everything changes. And that whatever is born dies, whatever arises passes away. As Ajahn Sumedho, one of my favorite teachers, says, the only difference between Buddhas and ordinary people who are often in a state of contentiousness with reality, the only difference is Buddhas know that whatever arises passes away. That's what Buddhas know. So Buddhas know, and why it's part of the teaching, they know that clinging to youth brings a lot of stress. Clinging to health brings a lot of stress. Clinging to life brings a lot of stress. And what relieves stress is our heart when it's not clinging, when it's in harmony with the way things are. I was reading a beautiful little simple piece from Ajahn Chah, who speaks very directly, very matter-of-factly. He, in a way, he does it gently, but he takes no prisoners. He says, whatever comes into being, any being that comes into being, they disappear. Having arisen, they pass away. Yet everyone wants them to be permanent. This is foolishness. Look at the breath. This may take a few minutes to read, so hang in there. Look at the breath. Once it's gone in, it goes out. That's its nature. That's how it has to be. The inhalations and the exhalations have to alternate. There must be change. Conditions exist through change. You can't prevent it. Just think, could you exhale without inhaling? Would it feel good? Or could you just inhale? We want things to be permanent, but they can't be. It's impossible. Once the breath has come in, it must go out. When it's gone out, it comes back in. And that's natural, isn't it? Having been born, we get old and then die. And that's totally natural and normal. It's because conditions have done their job. Because the in-breaths and out-breaths have alternated in this way that the human race is still here today. As soon as we are born, we are dead. Our birth and our death are just one thing. It's like a tree. When there's a root, there must be branches. When there are branches, there must be a root. You can't have one without the other. It's a little funny to see how at death people are so grief-stricken and distracted, and at birth how happy and delighted. It's delusion. Nobody has ever looked at this clearly. I think if you really want to cry, it would be better to do it when someone's born. Birth is death, death is birth, the branch is the root is the branch. If you must cry, cry at the root, cry at the birth. Look closely. If there was no birth, there would be no death. Can you understand this? Don't worry about things too much. Just think this is the way things are. This is your work, your duty. Right now, nobody can help you. There's nothing that your family or possessions can do for you. So this is the first daily reflection of the Buddha. I'm sure to become old, I can't avoid aging. I'm sure to become ill, I can't avoid illness. I'm sure to die, I can't avoid death. I'm sure to become separated from all that I hold near and dear. And then finally, to give the affirmation that if you were to just think only of death, you could become quite nihilistic. But then he goes on to say, my actions are my relations. And my actions of body, my actions of speech, my actions of mind. My actions are my relations. My actions are the womb out of which I am born. So he's essentially saying, notice what you're doing with your mind. Work with your mind. And if you are struggling with, it's hard not to struggle with the world. It's so painful. But there are ways every day that we can, as Mary beautifully demonstrates, she's doing all these things to balance so that we're not carried away by the kind of delusion that we can get it right. Everything that comes goes. Everything is in transition. So that I started it, said I may not bring you joy, but it brings me a lot of, always brings me a little chuckle. This poem from the ecstatic poet Hafez, where he said, I know that the voice of depression still calls to you. And many people have been telling me how just flattened out they are these days. I know that the voice of depression still calls to you. I know those habits that can ruin your life still send their invitations. But you are with the friend now, and you look so much stronger. And I always think of the friend as being that in you which is wide awake to your experience, aware. You can stay that way and even bloom. Keep squeezing drops of the sun from your prayers and work and music and from your companions' beautiful laughter. Keep squeezing. I have to digress a little bit. One of the things that's the missing link of meeting together online is it's really hard to hear our companions' beautiful laughter. That is one of the joyous elements of practicing together in person, which we were able to do this last Saturday. And it's why I continue to travel to so many communities to lead retreats and just be in person as much as I can. But I still love this. But one of the elements is I think the biggest element in this virtual Sangha is that it's harder to laugh together. But hopefully you'll get a little chuckle on your own. So keep squeezing drops of the sun from the sacred hands and the glance of your beloved. And my dear, from the most insignificant movements of your own holy body. So every time you are distressed, to me, working with your mind is reminding it to settle back into your body, is to feel the soft touch of your body. But then he goes on to say, learn to recognize the counterfeit coins that may buy you just a moment of pleasure, but then drag you for days like a broken man behind a farting camel. You are with the friend now. See, now that would have been a gas to hear everybody chuckle because it's funny. I mean, we're like that. We're like broken people behind farting camels, freaked out. And what are those counterfeit coins? One of those counterfeit coins is that is we're happy when our views are supported and we get a win in the political arena or the social arena or whatever. And we're unhappy when we don't. It's a counterfeit coin. We can't have our well-being dependent on what happens, entirely dependent, somewhat dependent, of course, because we care. But we can't have our well-being dependent on what happens in the world. That's why the Buddha didn't, at least as far as I understand about the teaching, he didn't take sides in political social dramas. He just kept encouraging. He says, as soon as you take sides, then you're happy when you win, and you're gonna piss somebody else off who doesn't agree with you. And so the Dharma practice, we just keep our way of resistance is to, as Melinda said, to feel joy, but our way of resistance is to cultivate merit. Do the things every day that are good for you and good for the world. And if you can, be that reliable refuge for the people who have to live with you. Let me just keep going. You are with the friend now. Learn what actions of yours delight them. Delight that in you. Learn what actions of yours bring freedom and love. I think I'll skip around a little bit. Oh, keep squeezing drops of the sun. That's to me, the light of awareness. From your prayers and your work and music, and from your companions' beautiful laughter, and from the most insignificant movements of your own holy body. Now, sweet ones, be wise. Cast all your votes for dancing. So it's funny that Melinda brought in joy, and I had intended to read this tonight, but I admit, read it for a little chuckle, but read it to remind us of the counterfeit coins that actually bring us down, and that is expecting our youth to be maintained, expecting our health to be maintained, even though we do everything we can to stay healthy, but expecting our life to continue and the lives of our near and dear ones. We have to normalize this. And perhaps, as Ajahn Chah says, cry when people are born. Because we know that from the Wiley's dictionary, the definition of birth is the leading cause of death. Definition of birth is the leading cause of all kinds of stress. And as long as there is greed and aversion and delusion in the world, we get the world the way it is. So we have to be in harmony with that, and not for the purpose of just letting the world be the way it is. It's for us to feel fortified, not be diminished by the world, and so that we can actually do our part, help out. march, scream, write, whatever, but from a place of balance. So if you haven't ever written down the daily reminders, I just think they're just useful companions because they put everything in perspective. Because a lot of our fear is the fear of loss, fear of dying, fear of losing what we have. And the fact is, we will lose everything we have. This is kind of a hard-hitting poem on impermanence that if I can find it.
Howie, what are the
Yes.
daily reminders?
What's that?
I'm uncertain what the daily reminders are.
I'm just I just shared them, but I'm going to repeat them and recommend that you put them up on your bulletin board or your refrigerator. First one, I'm sure to become old. I can't avoid aging. I'm sure to become ill. I can't avoid illness. I'm sure to die. I can't avoid death. I'm sure to become separated from all that I hold near and dear. I think there are different versions of this. And then the last one is about karma, about actions, about how our actions of body and speech and mind are our relations. That's what we're actually in relationship with, is the effect of our actions. So our actions are relations. Our actions are the womb out of which we are born. So it is what seeds we're planting every day, every moment, how we're using our mind, whether we're inclining toward greed, aversion, delusion, fear, or whether we're inclining toward love, toward clarity, toward balance, toward compassion. With our mind, as the Buddha put it, we make the world. So the last one's on karma. You should, if you can, just look up a rendition that resonates with you, and they're good companions. Last but not least, I actually have to stop a little bit early tonight because we have a few announcements to make and a request from all of you. This is from Jeff Foster. He says, you will lose everything. Your money, your power, your fame, your success, perhaps even your memories. Your looks will go, loved ones will die, your body will fall apart. Everything that seems permanent is impermanent and will be smashed. Experience will gradually, or not so gradually, strip away everything that it can strip away. Waking up means facing this reality with open eyes and no longer turning away. But right now, this is a key, we stand on sacred and holy ground. For that which will be lost has not yet been lost. And realizing this is the key to unspeakable joy. Whoever or whatever is in your life right now has not yet been taken away from you. This may sound trivial, obvious, like nothing, but really it is the key to everything, the why and how and wherefore of existence. Impermanence has already rendered everything and everyone around you so deeply holy and significant and worthy of your heartbreaking gratitude. Loss has already transfigured your life into an altar. If we could only hold our lives that way and our loved ones that way. And these kinds of reflections, they not only allow us to live our life with much more immediacy, but they allow us to bring that perspective to everything that's happening in the world. And somehow it adds at least a sliver of wisdom and balance. So it's a compassionate gesture to yourself and to the people who live around you to be in harmony with reality. So thanks for listening. I wanted to, there's a few things. One, thank you in advance for any Donna support. This is how we keep cooking every Tuesday night and all of our other events because of your generosity. So thanks in advance for that. And I know that it's always put in the chat how you can offer Donna. That's one element. The other is just give you a little background. On the last Saturday when we had our picnic in Golden Gate Park, I was speaking to a person who had been sitting with us for many, 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 many years, and just matter of factly said to me, you know, I don't sit with your group anymore. I'm sitting at this person's group because he starts his group an hour earlier. And I chuckled, and it was kind of a sweet conversation. And, loyalty is based on the timing. Anyway, I just thought it was funny. But it at least it got me thinking about and considering the possibility of us, not in order for this person to come back to our sitting, but in order to meet all of your needs, and perhaps so that it would be easier and better if we met an hour earlier. I know that many of you on the East Coast who sit with us every week, I so appreciate your presence here, but many of you on the East Coast start your evening with us at 10 p.m. And if we went a little bit earlier, we wonder whether that would make it easier for you. So there is a live, maybe Mary, you could explain, or Howie G could explain.
Well, this is Howie G. So I just pushed a button that should have brought up a poll on your screens. And is there anybody who could acknowledge that you see it? Do you see one on your screen? No. Okay. How about
Did you hit the launch button? Because when you
I
roll
just hit the, let's see, how about relaunch? I'll try to relaunch it. Okay, how about, does anyone see it now?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Mary. This is a team effort, I guess. So just piggybacking on what Howard said, just choose. It seems like you folks are doing it. I'm seeing some of the results coming in. And it'll be up for what, 5 minutes, Howie? And then I'll drop it, and then we'll collate the answers, and we'll do this more than 1 week because we know that people sometimes different weeks have different attendance. So we want to make sure this is representative and give us an
keep
inkling.
this going for a few weeks. Thank you. Everyone.
We're just we're just testing the waters here. This is not a final vote. We're just trying to get the temperature of the group to see if folks are interested in perhaps going to an earlier time.
Okay, well, thank you for participating, and we'll do this again and feel it out. We'll probably feel it out through the summer, and we'll make some kind of decision in the fall. But it's very possible we'll just keep things as they are. But
Well, Howard, do you want me to mention some upcoming retreats, et cetera, or?
yeah, I think that I could do that as well.
Sure.
I think the Labor Day retreat, which I do every August, well, on August 24th, I have a day long at Spirit Rock, an in-person day long. And I'm not sure if it's a hybrid or not, but I think it's an in-person day long. And so one, come all, and I'm not sure what my topic is, but I think it's just a day of practice together, and it's always a beautiful thing to do at Spirit Rock on the land if you're in the neighborhood. And then on August 27th, now for almost I think 35 or more years in a row, I've led the Labor Day retreat at Spirit Rock, which goes from Wednesday evening through Monday afternoon, Labor Day. And that's a wonderful retreat, but I think it's already full with a waiting list. I'm not sure. But I will be back at Spirit Rock in early December, the 8th through the 12th, or something close to that, 8th to the 13th. And that will be along with Tara Moulay, who used to be part of our Sangha, and Devin, I forgot Devin's last name. But anyway, the three of us will be leading a retreat at Spirit Rock. And so come one, come all. It's always nice to sit in a more continuous way with people from Mission Dharma. And
Devin Berry.
oh, Devin Barry, so sorry. I had a senior moment. Anyway, thank you for your practice. Maybe we'll just forget everything you've heard up to this point for a moment. We'll just sit quietly for a moment, and I'll hit the gong, and then I invite you to unmute and say goodnight to each other. But for a moment, let's just let everything settle. And before I hit that gong, let's consider that there may have been some benefit, some merit, some fruit, some goodness, some blessings that have arisen from our time together. And that we gather those blessings, since we don't really exist alone apart from each other. We gather those blessings and we radiate them with a wish to all beings, especially those right now who are in harm's way, being disappeared or marginalized even further. All those who are being born into this world, those who are dying, those in all kinds of circumstances, we radiate the blessings of our practice to all beings everywhere. Beings of the earth, the waters, the air, and we send the blessings of our practice with a wish that everybody can be happy and peaceful, safe and protected, safe from ourselves, safe from others, healthy and strong as possible given the limitations of our life and body, and a deep wish that our practice gives everyone serenity and equanimity, capacity to be with the inevitable joys and sorrows with much more ease and balance and compassion. I wish that our practice today and every day be dedicated to all beings. May all beings be liberated in more ways than one. Anyway, thank you so much. Please feel free to unmute and say good night so you can hear each other. Good night.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, Howie.
Thanks, Howie.
Happy Interdependence Day.
Thanks.
Happy
night.
Independence Day. Yes.
Night, Howie. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Night, Howie. Thank you.
Adorable.
Thanks, Howie G. Thanks, Mary.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
We've made it through one half of the year, so we got 6 more months to go.
Happy half birthday.
Yes.
See you later.
Bye all.
Bye.